we might have to redo that animation. It's time to visit with Big Daddy Bryan Garrity once again today, talking about some unconventional ideas, or at least some out-of-the-box ideas for selling your home, because it's pretty competitive out there right now. Bryan, it's good to see you again.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, you're a happy guy and...
happy.
You know, are we going to have to change your nickname? We're going to move it off of Big Daddy to something else?
We have to leave it.
All right, Big Daddy it is.
It's all about the persona now.
You have to buy new suits once a week now. You're looking good.
You're liking it at the store, that's for sure.
All right, let's talk about when you're getting ready to sell your home right now. What's the inventory like out there? I mean, is it pretty competitive in home sales right now?
It is still competitive. The inventory is increasing. You know, people a lot of times don't want to put their house on the market during the autumn and winter months. And I'll tell you, this time of year is really a time when you're going to find the most serious buyers, because they don't have the other distractions of kids being out of school or trying to beat that rush of getting a house before kids get into school. So just from a cyclical perspective, right now is a perfect time to evaluate whether it be appropriate to sell your house.
You could get fewer people looking, but more people, serious buyers.
That's what I found.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
A lot more serious. So, but what's happened is there was a huge explosion, like in May, June, April. You had buyers knocking down doors. We had very little inventory. So sellers were the king tut.
Right.
They were in charge. They were number one. They were just not bending, being very inflexible.
They were sitting back and letting people bid the price of their home up.
Just craziness, craziness. So now that's kind of changed, and there's more inventory, and you're starting to see the buyers gain a better foothold on what they can and cannot, let's say, get away with in terms of an offer type basis.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the things you can do immediately that don't necessarily cost you anything.
Exactly.
But allow you to get your home out there to more folks, to more qualified buyers, and to put your home in the best light.
Correct. Well, and there are things that you want to work on this collectively with your agent, but they're out-of-the-box kind of ideas that people probably don't do. And the first would be contact your HR department, or go on nextdoor.com. If you're not familiar with that, that's something you should check into. It's a community for your neighborhood, like Kensington, Hillcrest, Talmadge, Alpine, wherever you're at. It's called nextdoor.com. You can go on there and say your property is for sale. I don't know what the rules are for it specifically, but that's something that you want to talk to your agent about doing. HR departments work for a big company, great place to go, because they're bringing people in, like Qualcomm. They're relocating people here all the time. They have a relocation department.
And so they're looking for suitable homes for the folks that they're bringing into town.
Absolutely. And they would love to have a home that meets their parameters fall into their lap. So that's a good thing.
So expand your network is one of the things you should say. Now,
definitely.
Offering incentives. I worked for an incentive company, and I talk about this a lot to folks. Years ago, I worked for an incentive company, and incentives work. These are things sometimes other than cash that are really good motivators for people, because they speak to a particular need that somebody has.
Properly calculated incentives. So let's say there's things such as you have a flat screen mounted with a built-in barbecue, and it's just the cat's meow, and the buyers are loving that. That in and of itself could be an incentive that you offer along with your house.
So you could say to them, how would you couch that? Would you say, you know what, folks, if you're seriously interested, if you want to sit down and talk about an offer today, I would consider leaving the barbecue and the big screen TV behind.
Or the washer and dryer, big one. Regardless, especially if it's a new one, big one that you could leave behind.
Okay.
Just those kind of things. You got to think out of the box. Think of like, what's going to entice this buyer to get groovy on my home, and want them to really get solidified, so I get a high offer and that buyer walks away feeling like they got value.
Now, I know you've got some other tips, and I'm going to ask folks to give you a call at the office and talk to you about these things, and listen to the radio show. Now, the radio show, folks, is a lifestyle show. It's not just about real estate, so we want you to listen to that Wednesdays, 1 o'clock on ESPN Radio, 1700.
You got it.
You have fun when you do that.
We have fun. We have fun when we come here. What are you talking about?
I know you do.
We love it.
But get in touch with Bryan Garrity and his whole team there at the Garrity Group. Whether you're buying, you're selling, but get in touch with them early on in the process so they can really get you positioned perfectly for what it is you want to accomplish here. And they'll give you some
No.
great creative ideas to do it.
I mean, now more than ever, it takes calculated planning, both selling and buying.
And a team. All right, the Garrity Group. Bryan Garrity, our good buddy, Big Daddy.